Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Robert Muhammad back here in the podcast universe. And reason why I say it is the hottest podcast is because we plug you in with the information that you need in order to grow your business, scale your business, or get multiple followers, or just get your product or your service out there through the platforms of social media. And tonight, my guest has done exactly that. He has built a phenomenal business right there in the category of glamping, which is not so new, but it's pretty much new to a lot of people. And I will let him explain into that because he has a great and phenomenal story. And no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Andrew Williams, my friend and your big brother. What's going on, Andrew?
Hey, Cowboy, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm living the dream, man. I can't complain at all. Never in a million years would I thought that I'll be doing this. But I am very thankful, even for people like you, because you had a part into that, Andrew.
Yep, hard work and persistence got you there, though. It's all you, bro.
Most definitely, man. I couldn't think. And I know I think a lot of that is because you guys kept my head straight and kept me going in the right direction. But I want to get up into your story, Andrew, because your background from your history that I know, your background was is completely different from what you are into now. Um, I know you've been to college, uh, college degree, MBA.
Right.
So you're not just fell off the wagon here. You know, you already had a nice career carved out in corporate America. So what was that made you start to think about moving into this particular venture, as opposed to a very lucrative or secured corporate America job?
Yep. So you know this. Circumstances come along and hurdles are thrown at you sometimes, and you can either let those get in your way or you can look at them as opportunities. So in my particular case, back in August of last year, I was in one of those corporate roles that you're describing, and an organizational redesign basically designed me out of a job. So I found myself without any income. Um, and I wanted to take a little bit of time off and just kind of figure out the next steps that I wanted to take and kind of recenter myself. And I did that through the end of the year. And then this whole COVID thing hit at the first of the year, and the corporate jobs basically went on lockdown. So at that point, I really took a step back and said, okay, what do I need to do now in addition to continuing to look for my next kind of permanent role in the corporate world? I decided to invest a little bit more time and energy in this campground that we'd started up last September. So we started the glamping concept late last year in the September timeframe with one tent. It went really well in the fall, and we had a little bit of business in the winter, but I just saw an opportunity to really grow it. So I took the last, call it 6 months, and really focused heavily on that. For me, it's a little unique because it's not going to be my permanent income. It's an incremental income that I'm creating right now with a longer term vision and goal that this becomes my income in my retirement. So it is outside of kind of the sweet spot of what I've done traditionally. Traditionally, I've been in manufacturing, a lot of business development and sales, particularly in the electronic space. But it's something that I'm passionate about and I love. I love the outdoors, as you know. I love hunting and fishing and hiking and camping and those things. And I already had the property, so it was just a natural kind of progression to where I wanted to go. And that's what got us here today.
Now I've visited your place, and actually I camped out the old traditional way.
Yeah,
I
you
wish I
did.
had a waited now, But
Yeah.
um, you have a lot of dirt down there. So is it
We
kind
do.
of sectioned off like everyone has their own little private quarters, or is it pretty much like a traditional? I guess you would say like a boys and girls club type camp facility.
Well, we have 138 acres in totality here at this location. We've got another spot across town that's got about 40. But the campground itself only occupies a couple of acres. So the way that we've done is, or what we've done is we've gone in and selected an area on our creek, Anita Chopco Creek, which we feel is kind of the most appealing to people. And then along that section of the creek, we go in and we create these campsites, and we create them where there's enough privacy that if, you and your girlfriend or your significant other wanted to come down and get away, you got privacy. But we put them close enough together where we can have, groups of people come in and they can be very social. So it's not uncommon that we'll have one person come in and rent the entire camp for the weekend.
Wow.
Really? So it's set up to be very flexible.
Now, one thing that I like about this story is that you selected to name some of your camps after moonshiners.
Yeah. So, all of them right now.
What was the thinking, the collective thinking into why making it named after the moonshine culture?
Yeah, I guess some of it goes back to the marketing concept. You always want to kind of brand yourself with something that's not forgettable, right? That makes you stand out. And when you look at the history, particularly of this area in Alabama, and specifically this property has a long history of bootlegging and moonshining on the property. So we found multiple places on our property where there were old stills that were made, or old steel remnants. And in fact, on this spot on the creek where we decided to put the first camps, we found plastic piping that was running out of the creek for no reason other than to draw water up to create into a still. Wow. So we ended up going with the moonshining concept. We named the first tent Moonshiner Corner because that's where the two creeks on the property kind of corner into each other. So that seemed logical. And then we've had naming contests for each of the subsequent tents that we put up, which is just a way to really engage our followers, give them an opportunity to have input into where we're going. And we kind of sweeten that by giving away either a 1 or 2 night stay with each of these naming contests as well.
Right. Now, that's something very interesting that you said. And I was ultimately going to get to this point because this is how it ties into the podcast itself. You chose to use social media platforms, Facebook primarily, to really push your company out there, or to push Camp Hidden Creek out there to the masses. What was the thinking? Because that's a lot different than the traditional way of doing business is to promote and move that on social media platforms. So what led you to make that decision?
Well, I knew that we needed to get the word out. And early on, we went ahead and listed on a couple of platforms that are designed specifically for shared housing or shared camping or things like that. So we're on the traditional Airbnb, VRBO, but we also went and listed on a couple sites that are specific to the camping industry. Tent RR is one, and then Glamping Hub is another. So we went that traditional route initially to try to draw traffic and also to use their booking platform, right? Because they had the platform built that we could just push people to. But it soon became kind of obvious to me that people prefer, if they can, to book directly with you because they don't have to pay the fees associated with those platforms, and it's more intimate engagement with them. Right. So I went and developed our own booking website. And once we did that, we really started using Facebook primarily. We do a little bit of Instagram and a little bit of Snapchat as well, but primarily Facebook to start pushing the message out. So we created a page specifically for Camp Hidden Creek, started really asking all of our people that stayed with us to give us reviews, to post pictures, and to share the word. We're big believer in the concept of recommend us to a friend or colleague, the whole NPI promoter type approach. So that's what we did, and our social media presence has just taken off. We started the campground late September of last year. I think it was the 29th was our first guest. We had maybe 6 guests during the fall, and then the winter came in and things slowed down. So I'd have to go back and look at the stats, but we definitely ended the year with probably around 300, 400 followers. And then in January, when I made this decision to really kind of put some more effort into it, it started growing and growing and growing. And then we had period between call it April and May, where we added over 1,000 followers in 1 month, and we're up close to 4,000 now. And most of that was word of mouth. I mean, that's, we all know in business that your reputation matters, and we all know in business that referrals are huge. If I'm going to go have my lawn service done, I'm going to ask you, hey, do you know anybody that's good in the lawn service business?
Right.
So we relied heavily upon our guests to get the words out there. They've done a great job. They consider themselves part of the family and even call themselves Camp Hidden Creek family.
Wow. So you've actually made everybody just a part of the whole down home Southern hospitality thing. Now,
Absolutely.
I have actually heard that you've had guests to come as far as overseas and to check out the campground. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was through Airbnb, but we had a group of people came from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Christmas Eve. They came and stayed. So they were traveling through the U.S. They saw us. I think they saw us on Facebook. I'm not sure. They booked through Airbnb, but they had a great time. So that was kind of that's not normal. That's not our normal guest is coming from Malaysia. But it was great to have it. Now, we have had guests, though, this year that have drove down from Indianapolis and stayed a full week with us. And we have people driving up from Florida, and we have people coming from Atlanta. So we have an effective reach of 150 to 200 miles on a normal basis, for sure.
Okay. How did that culture shock or that culture? Because, I mean, now I'm from the South and you're from the South, of course, but how did that have an effect on the guests coming from Malaysia? I mean, because that had to be completely different. Your bigger cities like New York or even Atlanta or California or Texas, to come get some real true Southern culture, that had to have been a big conversation.
Yeah. And if you know anything about Malaysia, if you know Kuala Lumpur, it's a lot like New York City. So these are people that are coming out of a city area, not a remote part of Malaysia. So for them, it was their first experience ever camping, first experience being outside in a big open area. They kept referring to the campground as the park, which was fine. So we spent a lot of time with them, showing them around the camp, telling them how to do things. And we do that with everybody, quite honestly. My family is heavily involved in this. My girlfriend is heavily involved. So, Boo and Pop, my mom and dad. Right. Becca's my girlfriend. Her mom, Becky's heavy in it. And one of my best friends ever from high school, Rowan Butsey's heavy in it. So we make this feel like a family, maybe too much. I'm down there with these guests all the time, sipping on a beer and eating their food, which is why I've gained a few pounds since I started this. Right. But I believe
COVID, everybody else does.
But I believe heavily in that. I mean, it's I want people to have a good time. I think if they have a good time and they see us taking care of them, that they're going to recommend us to someone, and the business is just going to continue to grow.
Right. Well, I mean, even when I come down, Andrew, I mean, you showed my nephew to this day still talks about, you letting them shoot the gun.
Yeah.
And he's
responsibly.
And responsibly.
Right.
But I think the best part of that experience was, because he's never did that before, and he hasn't done it after. So he always talks to them, hey, when we going back down there to shoot,
Yeah.
So, but even at that time, though, your family, even being around your family, you guys don't know any strangers. So I don't know if you can get away from that.
Yeah. And we enjoy doing it. We enjoy spending time, especially with kids, right? And exposing them to the outdoors. We'll take them to little secret spots on the creek to fish, or we'll hook up the trailer to the tractor and take them on a hayride around the property. But it's fun. And I go back to, if you make it memorable, people are going to come back. And we've had a lot of repeat business, right? So the majority of the business that we see is from referrals and people coming back and passing that word through social media, through Facebook.
Now, is that something that the you and the camp or your camp is looking at getting into, opening that up to more youth to give them that experience about being outdoors?
Yeah, we did a session over spring break where we had think it was in totality 8 young men come up from Florida, and they spent a full week here. Okay. One of them was my nephew, but he came up with a bunch of his friends, and we set up an entire week, and it was all based around the outdoors. It was things like, how to climb a tree safely if you're going to hunt. We had some shooting lessons and took some time there. We shot the bow and the crossbow. We went and did some trapping, some catch and release trapping. We went and put out feeders and cameras and just spent time in the woods trying to expose them to what's out there. So, yeah, I think we're going to do more of it. I'd really like to spend some time with kids perhaps that are less fortunate and don't have an opportunity to do this, or maybe some troubled kids, just to give them, a chance to get away and get their head straight.
Okay. Well, and you heard it right here, family, right here from the man himself. If you guys are looking at something to give your children a different, something different than, because that's a lost, I think that's lost. I honestly believe and say that is a lost thing that's happening now with so much electronic equipment that's worked its way into society now. My daughter's one, her phone, I think her phone is a part of her hand now. So, but even when I was growing up, we used to grab the old blanket and throw it over the back, a clothesline and camp out in the backyard. But no, this thing with glamping, explain exactly what glamping is, because to me, this was the first time that I have actually heard that term.
Right. So there's it's either glorified camping or glorious camping. People refer to it both ways, but that's where the name glamping came from. Okay. So I travel a lot with businesses or with my career in the past, and I spent a lot of time all over the world, but I spent a lot of time in the last few years in California and in the Northeast, and they had this little cottage industry that was already established up there. And it was basically the glamping industry. So what glamping is you jump in your car and you roll up at your campsite here. You're going to be ready to sit down and enjoy yourself. The only thing you have to bring is your food that you're going to eat and your drink that you're going to drink. Other than that, everything's provided. So just to give you an idea of what the campsite would look like, you're going to have a wall tent, a heavy duty wall tent with a big tarp on the roof that's on an elevated platform. So it's up off the ground, either 2 or 3 steps up, with a queen size bed with a real mattress and heavy high-end linens, right? So you walk into this tent and you feel like you're walking into your bedroom, number one. So you're not sleeping on the ground. You're not sleeping on cots. So it's comfortable. And then each campsite will have Adirondack chairs that we have custom made here locally by a gentleman over at Cross Creek Woodworking who does a fabulous job. We have a camp ring or a fire ring for everybody. We have a park style charcoal grill. We have a grate that you can cook over open wood. We have overhead lighting at night. We have tiki torches. There's throw pillows and blankets, and we provide things like bug spray and baby wipes and tissue and even marshmallows and roasting sticks. So we want you to be able to pull up, step out of your car, and start enjoying the camping experience. And we have a lot of families that this is their first time ever camping. So either they don't want to go to the hassle of taking going out and buying equipment and lugging it around, or they're just not comfortable in doing it. So they enjoy coming here. We have a lot of couples that use it just as a getaway. They'll load up on Friday night, come down, bring a steak, throw it on the grill, spend some time, drink a bottle of wine, and they'll have a good time. So about half our business is kind of family related, where you'll have a bunch of kids and dogs and families running around, and the other half is usually more of the romantic type of outing. Right.
Now, I just saw recently, actually on your page, that you guys just added another campsite or another.
We did.
Camp. Now, what I love about that particular camp, and I think it was the first one, and I might be wrong. You guys added a handicap accessible ramp.
We did.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So is that the first one, or
that's the first one? That's the first one that we've done that's handicap accessible. And we needed the additional capacity because every weekend we're turning people away. We just don't have enough capacity, and I can't build the platforms fast enough. But I'd always wanted to make it to where people, if they were challenged from a mobility standpoint, you don't have to be in a wheelchair, but maybe you just can't walk well, maybe you've got bad knees or whatever. We wanted to have an opportunity for someone to enjoy it. So the latest platform that we built's got a ramp on it. We made the entryway so it would be easy for people to get in and out when you're entering into the tent. And then next week, we're going to start doing something a little bit different with the pathways around the camp. Usually we have a large rock surface that we put down for people to walk on, but we're probably going to do some crush and run or something like that, pack it down real heavy so a wheelchair or walker could get through there. But that one's open. It's already booked this weekend. We've got the first set of guests. Yep, already coming into it. So it's gonna go well.
Okay. So I mean, it sounds like you're hitting this thing from all angles. So so what is next for Camp Hidden Creek? And I love the boat, by the way. Just want
you like the boat, right?
Man,
right.
I love the boat.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
We just started the boat this past weekend. So I had the boat last year, but we enjoy going out and spending time on it. And it's another one of those things that a lot of people don't have. This is a 25-foot pontoon boat that'll hold up to 14 people, and we make it available for our campers. We call it stay and play. So if you stay with us, we'll take you out on Lake Wedowee. So last weekend was our first outing. I think we had 9 people, and myself and Becca were out on the boat. Bunch of kids left from Wedowee Marina, went out, spent the day spent 4 hours on the water, just riding around sightseeing, stopped, swim. The kids were jumping off the boat. So it was great. It was great. Worked out well for us because we get away from the camp for a little while and enjoy the lake. And it worked out for the other family because they got to see, a lake that they've never seen before.
Now, is that price of taking the boat out to the lake, is that all included into the price of the reservations of when somebody reserves or books the camp?
Well, that's an upsell item, so it's not something that comes with the tent itself. So if you want to do it, we do half day tours, and they're able to book that online. But it's not mandatory, but it's an upsell item.
Oh, okay. So right now, if for those who are out here who are listening to the podcast, or even those who will watch this later on the YouTube channel, and please make sure, family, because I will have all of Andrew's links how you can book and make your reservations to Camp Hidden Creek. I think it's something that everybody should at least experience once. This should be on your bucket list, especially if you are an outdoors person. Right about now, I got to pay the bills. Today's podcast is brought to you by Supreme Wave Pomade. Supreme Wave Pomade is an all-organic wave pomade that is made from natural ingredients, not to be heavy on the hair or not to clog the pores of your scalp. So if you guys are interested in getting Supreme Pomade, please check out the link that'll be provided where you can get that. And right now, if you type in RD Muhammad in the product code, you can get that can down for $5. It's a 3-ounce can for $5. Now back to Camp Hidden Creek. So what is the next move for you and your team down there, Andrew? What do you guys have coming up next that you might want to put out there for people to jump on to?
Well, expansion wise, we're pretty much done building for the summer. We're gonna really turn it into running and trying to optimize and creating efficiencies in our processes this summer. We've got the 5 camps up and running. We just completed a coffee bar. I'm actually sitting out here on it where folks can come up in the morning and get themselves a K-cup, or we have a pot that brews as well with creamer and to-go cups. And we just finished a bathhouse. So this is all part of the glamping part where you can come up and you can get a hot shower. You can use the restroom. Your family can sit here on this porch that I'm at and look at the creek. So building wise, pretty much done. We've got a couple of platforms and some stairs that we want to do for some accessibility type stuff that we're going to get done over the next couple of weeks as well. But the big things that are coming up are we have a party each year. And and this is something that's been going on for about 5 or 6 years, and this is what you came to, as a matter of fact. It's called F3, which stands for Friends, Fire, and Fun. So everybody throws the 3, right?
Okay.
So it's an all-inclusive party. We don't care who you are. If you want to come and have a good time and you can behave, you come on, right? So we've got black folks, we got white folks, we got yellow folks, we got straight folks, we got not straight folks. If you could come and you can love on each other and have a good time, everybody's welcome. So that's coming up August the 8th. So we're putting a lot of effort into that right now. We're doing some custom merchandise. You see the Camp Hidden Creek merch here, but we're doing some custom stuff for F3. So working hard on that and tying that all together. So when you go out and look at our social media presence, you'll see Camp Hidden Creek. But then when you look at the F3, which is kind of a different entity, it all ties back to F3 at Camp Hidden Creek, keeping the name out there, social media, right?
Now, that is already solidified and inked in as an annual event, correct?
It is. The date floats a little bit, just depending upon the calendar, but we try to do it early August every year. That's before the kids go back to school normally. Who knows about this year? And it's before football season as well. So we got a lot of diehard, particularly SEC fans, go Gators,
go
down
Auburn.
this way, right? Yeah, my dad's a big Auburn fan.
Yes, sir.
So we geared around that time of the year. It's growing. We've got 3 bands this year.
Wow.
We're gonna kick off around 3:00 with some folks down from News Site. It's Saturday night at News Site is the name of that band. They do bluegrass, and they were moving into another band that plays bluegrass and country, and then our buddy Robbie Jordan from Oxford is coming up to play from 7 until whenever that night. So it's going to be a big deal. We're going to be doing a lot of barbecuing. We got wild boar, we got deer that we're going to smoke, burgers, dogs. So it'll be a good time. So we hope you get to come down. Bring your family with you.
Oh, yeah, most definitely I will, man. And this time I'm gonna bring my daughter down there to me with me this time. I really want her to be exposed and see actually how that camp, that glamping lifestyle is. So, hey, everybody, if you're out there and you're listening to the podcast, make sure that you check out the links that'll be provided so you can book your reservations early for the F3 big showdown, hold down. It's going to be a big festival. So, and you don't want to miss it. Again, I have been there. I know these people. I know how they get down. And it is exactly like Andrew said. It is all love. And nobody's out there tripping. It's just having a good old-fashioned, down-home, Southern good time.
We even let Alabama fans come.
Yeah, I mean, we put them on the other side of the
other side of the fence, other side of the creek.
We give them a pair of binoculars or something. But even the Alabama fans, I think that you have yourself something here, Andrew, especially for now in the area that you're in, Ashland, Alabama.
Right.
That's a pretty small city.
It is small. It's about 2,100 people, but our guests aren't coming from Ashland. We have a few local people,
right?
But as we talked about, most of our guests are coming from Birmingham, Atlanta, right. Valley, Lynette, places like that.
Okay, but you're actually bringing a lot of attention and attraction to the city.
Oh yeah,
I mean, having people from other parts of the world come in and other parts of the country come in that would have never ever even scanned over. Not just Ashland, but they
if you look at our followers approaching 4,000, that's twice the number of citizens in the city itself.
Wow.
And if you look at the number of people that have visited here, we're close to 1,000 people that have come in at this point in time. That's half the population that never would have known that Ashland, or I shouldn't say never. They probably wouldn't have known that Ashland existed. So we're bringing a lot of new people to the community. Those people are spending money locally. We're spending money locally with our suppliers as well. So it's good for everybody. And I wanted to tell you one thing. You'll find this interesting. We haven't talked about it yet. Okay. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, we like this concept. Can I come and see how you're doing it? Because I'd like to do it myself, right? And, I think there's enough business to go around. So I usually let people come over and I'll walk them around and I'll tell them about it. and show them what we've done and talk about the pitfalls. But it occurred to me, well, man, why don't you just do it? So I've kind of spun my side business off into another side business, which is now I'm providing consulting services, not franchising, consulting, where I go out and I'll work with people that might have a nice piece of property. Maybe it's on the lake, maybe it's in the mountains or somewhere. Help them choose their campsite. We'll construct the campsite, and then we use our infrastructure, being our booking engines, our marketing expertise, and we drive that whole process for them. So we're providing consulting services and ongoing management of it as well. So if anybody out there is interested in learning how to do it and want to put something in on your own to create your own infrastructure or your own income, reach out to us. We're glad to help.
Okay, I think we're almost about trying to lose this feed again. Well, and really, what have you thought about franchising it out? I mean, because you already have a proven track record, with your brand already.
Yeah, we're actually in some discussions right now with a family friend that's got land out in Colorado, and we're looking at potentially doing something in Colorado. So hadn't got real far down that road yet, but it is something that we're going to look at in the future.
Okay, and you've heard it right here, fam, from Andrew Williams. If you guys are interested in even taking a glimpse into the glamping market, he has a consulting business to where he can actually give you more insight onto that, as well as I would encourage everybody to go and at least check out the Facebook page and see around it. I'm gonna have pictures. I will have pictures on the visual upload of this, so you guys can actually see just how beautiful this property is and how beautiful that all of the amenities are that are provided through with amenities. I can't believe I said that.
Yeah, well, I would have said the same.
You're gonna let me just slide right on in there with that.
Hey, don't forget your viewers get a discount, so that's out there if they want it, right?
Right, and if you guys want to book your reservation, when you guys book your reservation, make sure that you type into the product code or the code source book RDM, and you can get a percentage off discounted price off of that your one night stay or your multiple night stays. I hope that they come and actually enjoy the whole entire setting down there. You just can't soak up all of that fun in an overnight trip. You got to stay at least 4 days. You might want to change that, Andrew, and just tell me, on a 4-day, 3-night booking, then you got to get the whole shebang. You just can't go.
We like those. Yep. We like those for sure.
Is there anything else that you want to share? Oh, I forgot. This is a part of the podcast where we call it quotes that move your spirit. Is there a quote that you have heard or something that you have read that when you read it or heard it, it stuck? Not only did it stuck with you, it actually just made you go, you felt it. Do you have one of those?
Yeah. I'm not a real reflective type guy when it comes to quotes and things of that nature, but there's one thing that I've always kind of lived by is never look back, right? We all make mistakes in life. If we spend all of our time looking back and worrying about the mistakes we made, we miss all the good stuff ahead. So for me, it's never look back, never stop moving, just keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. And you heard that right there. Now, and here's one more, and this is the last one before we sign off tonight. If there is there one jewel, and we call jewels as golden nuggets of information, something that you can give to people out there who are trying to move or start a business through social media platforms, or just in business in general. You are the businessman. Is there one bit of advice that you would like to share with the people?
Yeah, but mine always goes back to customers, right? Without customers, none of us are gonna be around long. So take the extra step, do something little for your customers. Always thank them. Go the extra mile. Ask them to help you. Ask them for recommendations. Ask them to refer you to a friend or colleague. Make them feel inclusive. So focus your effort on making sure your customers are serviced well, not necessarily focusing on, optimizing your profit. We all want to make money, right? But I'd rather make a little money off a lot of people than no money off of a few people, right? So take care of your customers. That's the one thing I would say.
And that is beautiful right there. Just to sum that all up in one thing, focus on being an impact. Yeah.
Yep.
Focus
Nice.
on being
very well.
an impact.
That's why you run into podcasts and I'm talking. You do it well.
Well, man, I mean, like I said, man, oh man, we actually got to catch up, Andrew, and I'm gonna actually come down there. Like I said, I am actually when we chat offline, I am going to book my weekend for the F3 because man, I just got to come down and just catch up with you, big bro.
Come on, you're welcome anytime.
Back, so you guys hang right on. We got the feed right back, but again, family, if you want to book your rooms or book your camp at Camp Hidden Creek, check out the link. The link will be provided below, so you guys can have all of the information. And I encourage you to go onto the Facebook page, which is also named after the same name, Camp Hidden Creek, and you can go and check out, look at the properties, and look at some of the things that Andrew is doing down there in Ashland, Alabama. Hey, I am Robert D. Muhammad, your host for Plug In, and just want to let you people know, hey, you can tune back in next week where we'll have Michael Mergler, who is making a phenomenal stride down in the Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete area with his credit repair company. So you guys stay tuned for that. Everything is that's going to be a great show. And as always, Andrew, man, brother, I love you. Thank you for doing this, and love you much, man. You got to tell your mom and your pop I said hello, and I will definitely be seeing them real soon.
All right, sounds good. You guys take care of each other out there. Love each other.
Will do. Good night, brother.
See you, brother. Throw into 3.
No,
F3.
F3.
Thank you.